I just started the recording because it's frozen. So we are recording. We're ready to go. My goal, and sometimes I use the recorder counter to try to meet goals, is to have this done in 25 minutes. My goal, now we're starting a little late because we had a little bit of startup slow. Or slow startup, I guess. I put my words in the right order. But we today, exactly as the header says, are getting to y equals mx plus b form. Because equations, sometimes people get stuck thinking like, oh, it looks like that, so it's an equation. That's not, well, sure, it can't, you can say that, but because it's an equation doesn't mean it will look like that. So, when we see things, often they are given to us in standard form. So if you worked on the homework last night working ahead, our chapter in a nutshell is pretty fast, actually. So 5.1, we're going to continue our solving focus on getting to y equals mx plus b form and utilizing that form. And then 5.2, we're going to be looking more at systems and when and where do graphs cross and what does that crossing point actually tell us. So here is our first task. Let's make sure, now hopefully with the mastery that we've been working on, all of this is just going to be like, oh yeah, easy peasy. For the equation y equals 4x plus 5, what is the starting height, Liam?
5.
How do you know?
Because it says 5 on the plus part.
So that plus part we call the...
B.
It is the b, but yes, Xander, it is the constant. So in a situation like this, and let's make sure that we know this vocab, so go ahead and write down y equals 4x plus 5. The b value is the constant. It's actually kind of hard to write with your fingers. And then, are you with me? Are you with me, Elena? Because you're having a little show and tell back there. I don't know what's going on. The 4 there, Serena, we call the... Yeah, it is a coefficient. You're right. It is the m, but that's not really a name. Alex? It's not the y. That's actually also what we call the constant, right? So this is also known, you could write down on your paper just to have that reminder.
It's the slope.
The slope or the growth, right? So it is the m, right, we said, but really that means it's the slope, or we've also called it the growth. Yeah, we find it with rise over run. We want to remember what these things are. So when we are asked how many feet did the tree grow per year, assuming that x is years, 4 foot per year. Now, if x was told to be months, then we'd have to change what's going on here. But normally when we talk about situations like this, our input would be years when they ask about years. Any questions on that reminder of what we had done in the last chapter? So now this chapter, we got to change forms. So, and this is where I really kind of typed up my first page, trying to encourage you not to get algebra tiles. You got C by Alex, C by Liam, C by Patrick.
Wow, he just really blatantly walked over here to sit next to me. Thanks, Simon. Is he good?
Hey, look, I always had to sit in the front or else I wouldn't pay attention. Especially at college, sit in the front so you don't fall asleep. Because a lot of college professors, if you fall asleep, they're like, whatever. They're paying for this class. If they choose to fall asleep, that's on them. You know what I mean? So I always sat in the front. Except for a class where it was already stacked up, and I was halfway back in the class, and I didn't do as well in that class. So when we changed, no, it was a
Psychology.
integrative studies class. It was a Western civilization course, so it was about the rise of Western civilization.
Was it good?
So on your paper, go ahead and write down 6x plus 2y is Negative, thank you. Good catch, making sure that you're all awake today. I want you, hold on, to quietly, for a moment, take, like, on your own, try to get this into y equals form. Try to isolate, because I had a lot of people coming to me last night because they started the homework, and then I said, nope, you're working ahead. I'm like, this is impossible. No, it's not. Now, if you can't, that's all good. We'll look at the how in just a second. I shuffled my cards, apparently. So nobody needs to be talking right now, right? We're doing this on our own. Let's think back to our equation math work. Right, so if we had 2y plus 6x plus, negative 6, those look positive. Why are they negative? Because they're in the negative. Right, so if we think back to this, we could bring them up by flipping them. Right, so I'm going to move those. Logan, I feel like you have something to say, or you're waving down a plane. So go ahead. Well, what do you mean? Can you tell me what we can do here? No, not the first time through. You can tell me what to do to the algebra tiles, which is the same as the algebra. If you tell me the algebra, it's the same. Ooh, not yet. Now we could. Here we actually can. But we don't want to get in that habit because that, in a lot of cases, is really messy. So, I agree, we could, but there's actually a better thing to do first. I agree, but Audrey, what else can we do first? If we add, remember, I'm not telling you you're wrong. I'm just saying in certain situations that would be messy. That's the reason I'm going to tell you not to. If we add 6x. Right? These would turn into 0 and disappear, but actually we'd end up with 6x over here, but they're all positive, right? In the math. So if I actually try to group these up. Now, Logan, why is it that you wanted me to go ahead and divide by 2?
Because then we have 1y on the left, just y.
Yeah, the y quantity here, if I decide that my mat, has 2y and I don't want 2y, I only want 1y. I'm going to split it. Hold on. Wow, y'all are so picky. So I divide things evenly. If I have 3 x's on top, I have 3 x's on bottom. Oh my gosh, get over it. Oh no, these are almost over the negative. Oh no, it's not perfect. And y'all are perfect, apparently. So, each y really is worth 5 and 3 x's, right? Each y is worth 5 and 3 x's. Let's go back and do the algebra to support. So you have this written down, right? I'm going to make a new slide and write down negative 6x plus 2y equals 10. So then, what we did, now, here's, to go back to Logan's, if we want to divide both sides by 2, we can. We have to divide every single piece by 2, and that's where it gets dangerous. People will forget to do every single piece. So instead, the safer, not better, not right versus wrong, the safer thing to do is add those 6 x's. Please write that on your paper. Okay, that's fine. You can have that opinion. I'm trying to not talk down about what you told me to do, Logan. That's why I said safer, not better. I'm not trying to say my way's better. Hey, look at it. Do you have this written down?
Yeah.
Do you have this written down? And then, sorry, not taking volunteers right now because I'm teaching something. We write everything as it is. Now that I have 6x on the right side, I write down my 6x on the right side. Now, the left is closer to what we want to isolate. Right? We want to isolate the y. The only reason the y is not isolated, it's multiplied. So we divide everything by 2. Please write a big old division line that covers under everything on your right side. Time. Yes, but it doesn't really matter. Like you are correct. It's better that way, but it doesn't make a difference. Like mathematically, it doesn't make a difference. So you're right, and I will fix that when we come to the end. 2y divided by 2 is y. 10 divided by 2 is 5. 6x divided by 2 is 3x. Simon brought up a very good point. It is more appropriate to write this with the x first. So really, here's our cleaned up, isolated y equals equation. Yeah, so you guys have to stop taking something I say one day and bringing it up 2 weeks later. Sure, I used red to add because I change colors to show what I do on both sides. I don't really care what color things are.
And division is repeated subtraction.
Okay.
Red.
See that counter getting closer and closer to 25 and us not getting closer and closer to like having time to work on our tests? Y'all would stop, correct?
Undoubtedly follow Mr. Hudson's word. He is the math teacher.
Do
and
not
everything
do that.
he says is correct.
Don't undoubtedly follow what I might say something one day and it might be different than now. Mathematically follow that. But when I say writing in red.
Everything he says, but you do have to follow everything he says. You have to follow that we're not following everything he says.
Sure, that's a great suggestion.
Follow what he says.
Logan, just be quiet.
You all get A, you 3 get B, you get C, you get D, you get E, and you get F. Solve them. Yep. Well,
what if we don't want to do it?
you think I want to be corrected by 7th graders all day every day?
Yes. I bet you call us to do that.
I definitely do not do that.
My letter group is
Write the original first. Always write the original first. Have you done these? This. You don't have the worksheet.
already done.
No, you have the answer sheet.
No, I did the work. I did step by step.
What step did you do? I can't see what you did. Is that how I did the work on the board? Did I skip over what I did on both sides? Can somebody looking at that see what you did on both sides? Alright, so I'm gonna clarify something because a lot of you have been getting real upset when you get progressions or check minuses or things. You're like, but why? If I say show work, that doesn't mean write the final answer. That means show how you got there. It's really easy, as Bear is showing, to look at your neighbor's paper and just, you're just leaning over. You're leaning over. So, I don't care about the answer. It's not about the answer. It's about the process to get there. So, Alina's currently mad at me because I'm telling her that when she wrote the original step and then the answer, it's not good enough. And it's not good enough.
One
So, Alina, why wouldn't you write out that just one step?
Because technically it's the same thing.
I think every time you say the word technically, I'm going to take something away.
Everybody,
I think when you say technically, I'm going to start taking things away. If you've done yours, try another one, because we're about to do all of them.
I bet you used one X.
what if we really done with X? Like really.
Hey, Alina, solve F, show me all the steps, and I will let you get on from it.
Wait, can I do that too?
Nope.
What? Technically,
Barrett, you're about to get an invitation to leave my class. I need 7th grade classroom appropriate behavior. And I'm sorry, guys, but straight up, we're not here to, like, argue about petty little silly things. A lot of you are kind of still immature and you're getting stuck on really petty things. We're here to do math. If I write something in red and last week I said I shouldn't, that doesn't mean it's, like, bad or illegal. It means in my brain, I would rather not do that. Doesn't mean every single time I'm at the board, I will make that happen perfectly. No. I'm a human. I understand you're all identified gifted students. That's amazing. I love it. But that doesn't mean you have to prove people wrong. Stop feeling like telling someone they're wrong makes you smarter. Some of you really have to hear this. Telling someone they're wrong or that you think they're wrong does not make you smarter. Quite frankly, it just makes you look bad. Now, if you are politely trying to correct someone who actually has an error, that's different. But nitpicking is not. We're now at about 18 minutes, and we could have been done by now. This lesson could easily be over. So, random selection of who's in what general area of the room that I pointed at. And I may not remember the exact area because I'm a human. Alina, when we show the work for what we do, what did you do on both sides?
I subtracted 2x.
And we show that to make sure we don't make mistakes. Now, some people would like a 1 there, some people wouldn't. That is personal preference. Some people like having it, so when somebody says, what's the growth? What's up, dude? Sorry, you're talking to Josh in the middle of me talking. It's hard for him to listen. You're talking. You're sinking slowly. We good with the math, though? Okay. Sorry, you distracted me. So, y equals x minus 7. You do not have to write this one down because it's a one-stepper, but they get harder as we go. So, b, I think, was generally back. Let's go, Elena. Give me, when I write this out, x plus 2y. What are you thinking about doing first? Because there's actually options.
Oh yeah, this is the one. So what I did first is I subtracted 1x.
We subtracted an x. Why'd you make that choice?
It makes it look prettier. I just kind of thought that there was like, I guess this is like I could subtract it if I wanted to because there was at least 1x on both sides.
Yeah, so when I get used to when I say there are 4 ways to do this, if there are 4 things involved, there are at least 4 ways to do it. Elena made the right choice because we want to isolate the y, get rid of everything else. Here's where we have 2y, but we do not want to start with division because that would be messy. This is why I'm telling you guys to do the addition or subtractions first, then the multiplications. So this now becomes 2y equals 2x plus 4. right? Because this subtraction that we can see, because we wrote it, I'm trying to train you guys because I will count, like, I was about to say wrong, and that's not right. It's not that I will count a question wrong, but I will write work question mark, and it will not be counted right. You have to show me what you did, because inevitably you will make mistakes this year, and I need to be able to figure out where they were, and I need you to be able to figure out where they were. So these in-between steps, please write them. If you're going to ask me to not write the work, no, because I'm telling you as your teacher, write the work.
Because whenever I write the work, it's hard for me to solve the question.
Then that's something you need to work towards. That's something you need to master.
I can get the question.
Alina, talk to me after class. We're not having this argument. We have 2y, so what do? Divide. Everything.
That's exactly what
The
I did
mistake
on my
you'll
paper.
make when you don't write it out. Hey, Xander, do you need a different desk? Because every time I can't see your face, it's really distracting for me. Thank you. The mistake you'll make is when you don't write it out. You're like, oh yeah, when I divide to x, there we go. And you'll forget to divide something on that side.
So you forgot to add 4.
I forgot to divide the 4, right? So this is also why I change colors, because it makes me think
Why?
this is x, this is 2.
So
Now everybody, if you haven't done it yet, do E or F. Pick one. Do E or F, whichever one you haven't done. If you're over here and you've done one of them already, do the other one. Everybody choose E or F, one you haven't done. We're writing all of the work. I would make a bet. I actually, oddly enough, have a decent amount of money in my wallet. I would honestly put down money, and not every person can do this perfectly right now. And I know what trapdoor you're going to fall in. Try not to. Now, I'm not putting down money because that's illegal, but I would. Like in my mind, I'm okay. Again, literal. Solve the math problem. Put down means like bet, gamble. Like, because I'd be betting 7th graders, and if you lose, you owe me money. Yeah, that's. You're both minors. You're a minor. I'm an adult. When you're done with your E or F, I want a thumbs up. When you're done with your E or F, I want a thumbs up. So, I don't know what you're making up, but it will not solve out to be a single number. Feels what or what they want. And these are really so you can stand and the skills are like, yes. Oh, I just need a thumbs up. You don't even have to raise your hand. Just give me a thumbs up. It can be sitting on your desk. Give me a thumbs up. This trap door or these trap doors come down to the subtractions. We're not going to make our goal 25 minutes, but we'll be close. E, I think, was over in this region. Avi, what is safe to do first for E? What do you mean? What do you mean? Tell me what math to do. It's exactly in what Avi said. It's not 3. It's -3. So if you want to be really safe, rewrite it so you have no chance of making a mistake. That's -3. It's not minus 3 times what? This is where subtraction is so dangerous. So this becomes 5 plus -3x plus -3 equals that. Exactly what we had on the right side. Right? Nothing changed over here this step. Now we group like terms.
Which means that the end result would be -3x plus 2 equals 2y minus -3x plus 2. Lies.
No, it's not. Y has to equal 0.
Oh
Poor Henry.
Yeah, kind of agreed. Why are you saying jerk things like that? What do you mean I mean? You're going to try to dig yourself out of this hole? Just apologize. I expect better. We're here to respect each other, and mistakes are a positive thing. Now, what Henry's thinking about is what we've talked about before. When the two sides disagree in a way that is mathematically impossible, that can't happen. But we can keep pursuing this to see, is this one of those situations, or does something else happen? And this is a weird place where something else happens. Right? So 5 and -3 got me 2. Right? Nothing over here changed, but I moved it into a different order, -3x plus 2y plus 2. Now what we're trying to isolate is the y value. So we get rid of everything else. I'm adding, so my preference is green. This comes out to be 2 equals gone now. 2y plus 2. So then, if we subtract 2, 2y equals what? 0. So what's y? 0. This is not impossible, but everything disappears. So we don't have a y equals mx plus b form. Yes, we do. Right? When you look at this and you're like, that's not what we're looking for. Yes, we do. This is y equals 0x plus 0. There's no growth. It starts at 0 on an xy axis. Anyone know what y equals 0 would look like?
Wait, oh, it would just be a
Charlie?
line.
There would be a line on the 0.
Horizontal or vertical?
Horizontal on the
Y equals 0 here. Where else does y? No, these are y equals 1, y equals 2, y equals 3. Don't think you're wrong all because I go. I'm going to start to do these things to you guys. You all think that you need validation. Here, this white line is every value where y equals 0, right? It doesn't go, okay, that is bigger than, but it doesn't go up, doesn't go down. The horizontal x-axis is y equals 0. So you might want to make a note. The x-axis is y equals 0. And if we flip that statement around, the y-axis is x equals 0. And then I think I'm probably out of slides at this point. People that did F, does it work out to be an mx plus b form? I had cloned this a bunch of times, and I was hoping it still existed. Real quick to go through this. Well, actually, I think we should probably move on and isolate something else. This trapdoor is this negative distribution. So this, just write the next step to see if you fell in the trapdoor or not. This would be x minus y minus 2, or way better than that, would be x plus negative y plus negative 2 equals 4x.
2.
Situations like this, that's where people screw up. They've done everything right all the way across, and then they forget to distribute the 2 to there. So be careful. Places like that are also where people like to goof up. And so this is the sort of stuff that is on your homework. So real quick, so I want to give you time to either spend a few more minutes on your test or like work on whatever you need. When you come to situations like these, you are not going to end up with like x equals 5 or y equals 12 or like there are multiple variables involved. Okay, so this one might actually solve out. Sorry, and Bear, I may have said that wrong to you, but when we see multiple variables, we will not solve out to a single number. So I think A is the only one there.
A is just plain old.
D, yeah, D only has a single variable. Yeah, G only has a single variable. So I guess there's 3 situations here where the single variable will solve out. Is it 5? Did you check it? Because you didn't have any work on your paper is what scared me. So the work I should see on your paper would be right below this.
2y
Right, and I'm gonna
minus 6 equals 4.
2y minus 6 equals 4. To isolate y, what do we do next?
Plus 4.
Ooh, add 6. Careful.
Oh, wait, so we're doing the examples.
Oh yeah, these are on the white paper. So let's bust through a couple of these real fast to make sure you're comfortable. These are on the white paper for today. Today's white paper. So 2y equals 10. Show your work, and I won't assume that you're just like making stuff up. I know, but you still we hadn't done it. Like, show your work. Just always show your work. Okay, when I walk by and I just see an answer, I assume something's gone
So,
haywire.
do you want us to fill these out on our homework? Or leave them?
We're going to do a couple right now together to make sure that you're comfortable. So this isolates down to an integer, but most of them don't. So we're about to do one that doesn't. So for, you want to do an easier or harder one?
Harder. Dude, oh, no, that goes
What
down
do
to
you
a
do
single.
Do 8 for B is it still for x? So x could be multiple things.
No, well, yes, but x has one equation it equals. So Alex brings up a really good point. X can be multiple things. Well, yes, but we're not asking find the one value of x. We're saying find what x isolates to. So the things happening to x, the 2 and the 5y, right? What can we get rid of through addition or subtraction? The 5y. So we subtract 5y. Those don't group. It doesn't actually subtract. 2x equals negative 5y plus 10. Sorry, that little dot shouldn't be there. So please think through this with me. I see some people not thinking. I can tell because you're just like looking around the room. We subtracted 5y from both sides. We have a negative 5y over here now and 10 because I can't actually take 5y away from anything over there.
Oh.
Does this make sense?
Yeah.
Okay, what about it?
How is that the most simplified?
It's not. We're not done.
Oh, and also
I'm checking step 1.
I wanted to multiply it by 2, so it would be divisible by 2, but then I realized I was reversing my thing, so then I.
So the not really issue, but the kind of snag right here is when we go to divide by 2, 5 isn't really divided by 2. Hey guys, what's better than mixed numbers and or decimals and or a lot of things? Improper fractions, right? So, or sorry, maybe I said that backwards. I had a lot of things in my head. Negative 5 doesn't divide by 2 well, so don't do it, just write it. You don't have to do the division. Just write it as a fraction. No, you don't need to put it into a mixed number. You seriously. So guys, slope, it's not better. Slope is rise over run. A fraction is better. decimal number because a fraction is in rise over run format. It is how it should be. And then y-intercept. So here our slope is -5 over 2, meaning go down 5, go over 2.
Aren't you supposed to divide the 10 by 2?
Ah! Good catch. That's the trapdoor you'll fall in. Because you will think through, oh, yeah, this is fine. Good catch, my bad. Please make sure you didn't write that down as 10 like I did, my bad. Charlie? Any other requests for one of these to solve? I mean, you have other ones on like the back of your homework that you need to do, I think. Audrey? Which? H? Oh, yeah.
Sounds like the cat in the hat and the weird
The Kool-Aid dude?
Yeah. like the cat in the hat and he's like walking around like
Okay, so if you don't know the Kool-Aid dude, he normally like bursts through a wall and says, oh yeah. But so honestly, if that happened, wouldn't you just be like, dude, you just broke my wall? Like he's like jumping through all like, oh, like, you broke my house.
This cost me.
Alright, there's a lot going on here. We're supposed to isolate y. So find your y's. Well, okay, that's the only one. Start getting rid of the other stuff from that side, except, Katie Ann, what should we do first? Well, that's what I'm asking about. This needs to multiply into this expression. But before we do that, 3x and minus x are like terms. Right? We have like terms here. So guys, the first thing we actually want to do is x squared plus 4. We don't touch the left side. And we don't do the 2 times yet. We group the like terms. 3x minus x is what? 2x. Yeah. So now, and I'm actually going to think of this as plus the negative.
That makes it more complicated.
Now we distribute.
In that situation. 4x. Now that makes sense. Mine's x squared.
Hey, I don't know if I've done it for this class or not. I know I did it for Math 7 last week. Things we do in class together are high probability to circle back around on a mini mastery or a mastery. So if you're one of the people here like counting seconds till the end of class, be ready for this exact problem to probably end up on something. Like the exact. Like I copy pasted and people are like, wait, wasn't this on our homework? Yeah, it was. Go figure. And this isn't even homework, but it's a really good problem that like a bunch of you are ignoring. So yeah, that is gonna be one of those teacher things where I'm like, yeah, well, you make your bed, you lie in it. Sure, Simon, help me out.
Alright, so because the x squareds on both sides are equal, we're just gonna subtract those.
And you don't just make them disappear, right? You show why. Love it, agree, so.
Y equals 4x plus negative 12. But then that's not the most simple. Yeah. Because there's, all of these are divisible to integers by 4. So if you divide them by 4, they'll come out as integers. So you end up with just y equals x minus 3.
Yeah, I'll let it. Yeah, we're doing a great job, so I'll write it how you want me to. But you could also, in the subtraction doesn't. That's up to you. I didn't say his was wrong.
No, the only
That's
thing
up to you.
is when we scroll.
Yeah, I know. You said up here that made it more complicated. Yeah. Well, you're going to see those a lot, so that's why I try to incorporate some now, so you get more comfortable with them. Audrey?
It does make it look more cluttered, though, because there are two...
I can't disagree with that. But once you're really comfortable with how grouping symbols work, it will make you less uncomfortable. That helps. I don't know if that helps. Alright, we will try to find other time that people can finish their tests if they need, but again, if you can come at extensions to work on it, that would be better. Because we took 2 days and we should be at least close. Right? We should be at least close. Yeah, I know. You haven't been here. So we'll have to figure that out, Simon.
Wait, so do you want us doing the rest
No, you don't have to do the rest of those. But be ready that any of them could be on a mini mastery or a mastery at some point. Could be.